Hi YouTube, this is an MPK roof light. It's 400 by 400 opening size, and it's never been great, but it's getting a bit old now and the plastic dome's all sort of yellowy, and it's got these ventilators on it which aren't adjustable. You can see I've covered them up there with some plastic pieces, and generally it's very tired. So I've decided to swap it out with a Heki Midi, which hopefully is the same size, should be 400 by 400 opening size. And you can see I've removed this from this end. It's like a cover for the screws, so that one's still on. And the secret of removing them is you just push it sideways, get something in the gap there, and these end pieces come off. This then leaves 4 screws, one in each corner. So I'm going to remove those now, and the blind assembly will come off. So I've removed the corner screws now from the underside of the motorhome ceiling, and these old screw holes will be covered by the Heki blind assembly, so you shouldn't see anything of that. So the next stage is I've got to remove the roof section, and that's held on with these little clamping brackets all around. So the posi drive, just undo all these screws around, and then I'll take the lid off, and with a soft plastic spatula I'll break the seal on the top. This is the old MPK blind assembly, and this is the Heki blind assembly. So you can see that the screw holes are just covered by the Heki unit, which is good. So to remove the top part, the dome part, I've got these 4 little torque screws that go in there. So I've undone those 4, and the you can see there it's a T10 bit. So the MPK curb is bedded down on non-setting mastic. This is the correct stuff to use, and it never actually sets. So what I've been doing to separate it is I've used a thin blade there just to get it under the mastic seal, and as I've been levering it up, I've just been sticking some wedges underneath just to hold it away. So the curb's come away now, fairly clean. That's the old mastic, which is why they use non-setting mastic, because you don't want this to be stuck fast, because it's also got mechanical fixing, so you don't need it to be stuck fast. Just trying the Heki curb for size, the new Heki curb. The opening looks about right. I'm just going to see if the curb slides in now without any modifications. Yeah, the new Heki curb slides in a treat, so hole size is perfect. The hole is big enough to get the curb and Heki parts through on the diagonal, so you don't need to go on the roof. Just spend a bit of time preparing the opening. I've scraped off as much of the old stuff as possible and cleaned up around on the roof. Just going to get the remaining sealant off, and then I'll put the new stuff on. I'm going to be putting the mastic all the way around the underside of the curb. It's got a little groove there all around. This one was light grey, but it wasn't acceptable to Mrs. P, unfortunately, so I've had to spray it, and I've used this stuff. And it's come out quite a good match. It's come out quite a good match. So that's the light grey there, and that's the spray finish. That's our 2 coats, and it actually matches the satin finish, the white satin finish of the existing, pretty good. As I've mentioned, we're going to be using a bed of non-setting mastic. So you've got a choice of 2 ways to do this. You can either get it in a tube, which can be quite messy because you're working through the opening, or my preferred method is this stuff on a roll, and that's a lot easier to work with. Just a word of warning here, you get a lot of advice on the forums to glue this thing down with Sikaflex. Well, you don't want to do that at all, because that, although it says it's a sealant, adhesive sealant, it's actually a very strong adhesive. So this has got mechanical fixings anyway for when you want to take it off, and if you stick it with that stuff, it'll never come off. I've rolled a bead of this mastic tape, rolled it into like a sausage, and stuck it on all the way around there, so it's standing proud. So when it's put onto the actual roof, these screws will clamp it down, and this will all squeeze out, hopefully not too much and make too much of a mess. First problem on the job, just offering up the internal liner, and it won't pull up to the ceiling. It's about 1/2 inch too big, and the problem is these screw guides are too long, so I'm going to have to cut some down and put some shorter screws in. So I've shortened all these screw guides now and put some shorter screws in, and that's pulled it up a treat. So I've just got the blind assembly to put on now. Here we have the finished article. The blind assembly just pushes up on some clips and hides all the screw holes, and the Heki Midi, it's a much better unit. It opens up wide, and also it's got this seal, which is optional, but this one's got it, and it's a tight seal, so it stops noise while you're driving, and also it stops a lot of drafts. So yeah, all in all, a worthwhile exercise.